Hustle, a basketball movie people liked. Yeah, it's official. Warning, many spoilers are coming up. A lot of them. All of them.
All of them.
Just got to say it right now. I'm Taz Mellis. With me here are the bearded one, Trey Kirby.
Heyo.
Hey, yo. And the international man of mystery, Lee Ellis. Lily. Via Zoom today, it's our man, J.E. Skeets. What's up, Skeets?
Good day, sweet world. How's it going, guys?
What's going on, Skeets? And, of course, the man making the magic happen, as always, it's J.D.
Hello.
Oh. What's up, J.D.?
There he is.
Here I am.
There you are. First, before we get to the show, JD made the magic happen on No Breaks with Trey and Graydon Gordian yesterday, talking about the latest F1 race. It's got its own feed. Go check that out. As for No Dunks, we're taking a little break from the finals. Just a quickie. Quick break.
Quickie.
Just 1 day break because Hustle dropped on Netflix. And everybody wants to talk about it.
Everybody's hustling out there.
June 8th, it dropped. Everybody started watching it. Everybody in the NBA world, because there's so many breaks in the NBA Finals. People had to watch something. It's also in select theaters. Let me give you the deets on it before we get into it. The director, Jeremiah Zagar. Many producer credits on this one. Many, including LeBron James, Maverick Carter, Joe Roth, Joseph Fessy. Any relation to Peter? I don't think so. Jeff Kirschenbaum, Zach Roth, Alan Covert, and Adam Sandler, who also is the star of the show. And he stars alongside NBA player Juancho Hernangómez. And I have to say NBA player Juancho Hernangómez because I'm sure many people out there didn't even know he was a player in the NBA, including my wife as we watched this. Yeah, she was... how would she know Juancho Hernangómez?
No, but he gets
That's
spoken
not surprising.
about. You know, he gets spoken about and talked about. Like he's not an unknown name. You know, like he's got a brother,
unique name
like that. Yeah.
She doesn't watch.
You think that people would know Juancho because they know Willie? Well, that's even more surprising.
There's two of them. You know, there's two of them, and it's just kind of funny, you know, to talk about them. You know, like I'm sure Hernangómez has been brought up in my house before. You know.
Really?
I think so. Yeah. No, that's Willie, not Juancho. That's Juancho, not Willie. Yeah.
We got both of them in this movie. Spoiler alert. We'll talk about Juancho. Yeah, the only thing my wife enjoyed really at the beginning was Juancho taking her shirt off every 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a great drinking game if you're watching this movie. Take a drink every time Juancho takes his shirt off. Anyways, just to give you more deets, Juancho's antagonist is played by the Timberwolves' Anthony Edwards, who was phenomenal. Hustle also stars some other phenomenal actors, Queen Latifah, Ben Foster, Robert Duvall, and many, many NBA players and personalities. This was surprising to me. I didn't know this going in. Mostly playing themselves. Kenny Smith plays an agent. That's probably the NBA personality with the biggest role. Dr. J's out there being cool. You got Boban Marjanovic. We'll get to them as we get deeper into the pod. Quick synopsis. A basketball scout for the 76ers, Stanley Sugarman, played by Sandler, discovers a phenomenal street ball player while in Spain, Bo Cruz, played by Juancho, and sees the prospect as his opportunity to get back on an NBA bench as a coach where he truly wants to be. But then the relationship deepens and the story really becomes about Sugarman wanting Cruz to succeed. It's lovely, a lovely film. Now, we wanted to watch this a couple months ago. We saw the trailer. It looked good. And then our resident film critic, JD, got in the Slack, called it a near perfect film.
Wow.
So first question for you, JD.
Sure.
How did you feel when you finished watching this movie?
How did I feel when I finished?
Yeah.
I got right on Slack, and I was like, damn, you guys. Hustle. Because I thought of you guys while I was watching it. I'm like, basketball sickos would love this movie. It's just, it's such a treat. Like, you're sitting there, and, you know, for me, it's like, holy shit, there's Kyle Lowry, and he's just playing himself, and, you know, and just all the cameos, all the basketball itself. I mean, I'll let you guys speak to it, but it was like I believed it. I felt like I was watching real basketball happening, and part of that is the editing, I know, but also part of it is you have real basketball, professional, cream of the crop basketball players playing basketball, and yeah, I just thought it had a lot of heart. I mean, you know, movies like this, we've seen this movie before a million times. And we watched, what do we watch? Like 25 sports movies, it felt like, you know, from Air Bud to The Way Back. And we've seen all of the plot points in all of these movies. And this one just comes out great. It's just like a warm blanket. It's like tomato soup and a grilled cheese sandwich. It just makes you feel good. And I just thought they did a great job. So I wanted to hop on Slack and let you guys know that I endorsed this movie.
Official stamp of endorsement.
Very few things go farther in my household than a JD recommendation. Like, I didn't watch Silver Linings Playbook for years just because JD said it wasn't that good. But this, once he said it was damn near perfect, I was like, oh, we got to watch this soon. Then I saw a tweet from Cristiano Ho who said, this is What About This Guy, the movie, and it 100% is. Like, felt like I was doing a checklist to make sure I got down every cameo. Then you see the credits roll at the end. You're like, oop, got that one, got that one, got that one. Didn't notice Aaron McKee in there somewhere. Check it off. But yeah, it's really fun to watch. And like JD's saying, the basketball is pretty solid. There are still plays where you're like, obviously this is set up to be an assist to make Juancho look good or something, but at least it's an NBA player doing it. It's better that way, I think. Get an NBA player, teach him a little bit of acting and let the basketball happen naturally, then get an actor and make the basketball happen, and it never looks natural. I thought this was great. An instant addition to the best basketball movies ever list to me. Adam Sandler now has 2 of them in the past 5 years because the guy obviously loves basketball. This must have been a dream for him to make this movie.
Absolutely. Sandler mentions in some of the interviews around the movie that he just wanted basketball players to be playing the basketball, official basketball players. He is such a diehard. So I agree. He absolutely adored making this movie. I guess one of the smart things he did was get the basketball players playing basketball, but not so much acting. It's a who's who of players who make cameos, but there isn't a lot of acting from those people. Skeets, first impressions from you and just in general?
Yeah. I thought we made the movie for a second. Like Trey said, it's a hey, what about this guy? Big part of the movie. The other thing is an inside joke with us is where's Juancho? And
of all the
every
players.
time he was on film, I'm like, oh, there he is. So I was like the Leo meme, like, where's Juancho? He's right there. So there was that. Well, as well, JD sort of slipped it in there. This movie has already been made 10 times before, and that's okay because this is a great movie. It's a lot like The Air Up There. Which is one we didn't do, if I remember correctly, with Kevin Bacon. It's got vibes of that. There's a lot of The Blind Side, I guess, slipped in there, a football movie. And then it's got a hell of a lot of Rocky, and not just because of the Philadelphia ties. It's to the point where Anthony Edwards is Apollo Creed.
Oh, yeah.
To Juancho's Rocky, which is really fun. But yeah, I like Trey. It's a lot of I'm writing down lines, not even cameos. I was like, whoa, somebody just made a reference to Drew Holiday's post defense. I'm like, okay, let's make note of that. And then there's a line about sacrificing, like Manu Ginobili.
Coming off the bench.
You got to come off the bench.
This kid is the new freak, like Giannis. And there's obviously what I think is already an iconic Scottie Pippen and Wolf had a baby line. So yeah, it's for basketball sickos. I think it's been called sort of like a love letter to basketball from Sandler and the people that made it. And that makes sense. It is a lot of fun. And the basketball is solid because they're basketball players, so it should.
Lee, what stands out to you from your first impression watching this movie?
Yeah, so when I saw JD's rave review, I was like, okay, I've got to get in on this. And I thought it was good. I wouldn't say damn near perfect. I wouldn't say that because... mainly because
nobody dressed up like an old woman housekeeper and danced around the house.
No, but
that's my one criticism.
Because in most basketball movies, the guy has some sort of issue he's got to overcome, and then he comes back, and then he hits the game-winning shot in the championship celebration. And this was kind of the same thing in that sense that this guy was down and out, he wasn't going to make it. He comes to America, and then he's got the issue with his assault charge back in or on his record there. And then he has to overcome that. And then Adam Sandler, he's kind of been lying to him a bit. And he's like, hey, man, you lied to me. And then he brings in his family and they come back. And then all of a sudden, at the end, it's like, oh, so he did make it in the end. I sort of felt that was going to happen and did. And so that's
a sports movie.
Yeah, that's why I just sort of, I just was like, well, it is the same sort of storyline, though, that we see in a basketball movie. I thought at one point the movie was going down the alleyway of it was more White Man Can't Jump, where he was just going to hustle people for money and become a great street baller because he was doing that early on. But so in the end, and then he gets drafted by the Celtics, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's a bit of a twist at the end there, but ultimately, he reached the same goal that most of these movies do, these basketball movies, where it's like, oh, he hit the game-winning shot, except in this case, he got drafted to the NBA. So It was fine. It was fine. I just wouldn't say damn near perfect for my. I'll get to my rating later on. But
yeah, we will. We'll get to our ratings later on. I will say
though, Adam Sandler. His last two movies, his acting has been incredible.
He carries this movie. Absolutely carries this movie.
Because The Wedding Singer, what's that?
We're going back.
No, Happy Gilmore.
Classics.
Yeah, but to me, those movies, like, they were fine, but they weren't, like, absolute bangers for me. And his acting was fine then, but he's really taken a step up in his acting, I think, now. And Uncut Gems and this one, I thought, easily his best two movies for me.
Yeah, we watched.
Personally, I think Billy Madison is a damn near perfect as well. But this did have a little bit of a somewhat cut gems, I would think, feel to it. There's a lot of tension in it. There's a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and there is the slight gambling aspect of kind of the Sandman gambling with Juancho's career a little bit. So they played similar tonally to me a little bit. Obviously, this is much more family friendly. Though I will say, was it rated R? I don't know. I actually don't remember noticing that.
I think it is.
There's a lot of F words, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So it's probably rated R for that
and
reason.
your mother's a whore and that kind of thing. The masturbation stuff.
Oh, that was
yes, of course.
So, yeah.
Who says your mother? Is that
That's
Anthony Edwards?
No, Adam
It's Adam Sandler. It's when he's trash talking.
Trash
The
talking
first
him.
line when he trash talks is like
in the gym,
and he says it so calmly, and that got a big laugh out of me actually.
I love that scene.
She's not a whore; they get paid.
That's right.
Yeah, Sandler was very, very, very good. I tried to think back to the scenes that he wasn't in because I felt like he was in every scene. There were a couple where he wasn't, but he absolutely carries the movie. He's really, really good. Getting back to your point of this being sort of the typical basketball movie, I'll say there's a couple atypical things. Yeah, Juancho makes it to the league in the end, but there are no game-winning shots. I mean, we don't even see him play in the NBA. The last thing we see is him warming up for an NBA game. So there's that aspect. I mean, really.
But that to me is the game-winning shot that he makes it in the end.
Yeah.
That's the journey for him, is to get to the NBA.
But you could have seen some cheesiness. They could have played that game, and he could have hit a game-winning shot. Of course, it could. But they didn't make that mistake. Another atypical thing, which was kind of cool, when he is hustling people, as you said, Juancho Hernangómez is hustling people. It's all block shots. He's just swatting people. He's not hitting buckets.
So I like that sort of twist to it, where it's like, okay, rather than the guy just going out there and no one can stop him, it's like, okay, can you even hit the rim? I think was to get $20 and score was to get $50, and it was like, okay, I don't mind that. I mean, and he was swatting shots. Of course, they were all set up there, but that was something we haven't really seen before, where defense is what wins you the respect out on the court there.
Defense wins respect.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, JD, what was your favorite thing about this movie? What carried this movie for you?
Well, I think it is Adam Sandler, and I think that Danny Benson brings up a good point here in the stream team. It's like Rocky from Mickey's perspective. He's it's his journey. Like, he is the one that, he starts. I mean, the whole movie is bookended by two great shots, really. The first thing you see is him all schlubbed up, and he's walking through this dank, gross tunnel. He asks the guy, "You taking me to see basketball or a cockfight?" Like, the guy's like, "Yeah, we do it all here." But and then that's where we meet Boban in this great scene where it's just like, "What? You're 22? No, I'm not 22. This is your son. How old is he?" So all that stuff was great, but he's at the bottom basically, and he's been doing it for 30 years. And then the final shot of the movie, one of the final shots, is he's walking through the tunnel of the Phillies, the 76ers, the tunnel next to Doc Rivers, in the place where he wanted to be the entire time. And it's just an incredible shot, and it's all one of those things where I go, how do they do this? Because the Wells Fargo Center is completely full, and they have that great Steadicam shot of him, that basically circles him, and he's literally, his dreams have been realized. And of course, Bo Cruz's dream has been realized as well. But Sandler is the main character of this movie, and it's really about his journey, and that's a little bit of a twist on the sports movie, so to speak. But
agreed.
But yeah.
But that point though at the end, so he becomes the assistant coach in the end. That's what his dream was, and he basically resigns from the organization when the son takes over. There's tension between those two from the start. We can feel it in the sort of player prospect conversation there. Anyway, so he gets him back out on the road, He doesn't want to do that. Adam Sandler wants to be the assistant coach. But then he comes back and they have the big blow up and he says, fuck you, I quit. Right? And then later on, we see the sister who basically has just come in and taken over the operation of the team. Why didn't we see any conflict between the sister and the brother at that point? Because to me, that brother, he was a character that was like, there's no way he's just going to back down to even to his sister once he had control of the team. But instead, she turns up, she kind of smiles at him, and the next thing she knows, she says, I'm going to make some changes. And then it's like, well, so surely that would have been a good scene to have like the brother and the sister fighting to be like.
No way. This is a movie about Adam Sandler and a little bit about Juancho Hernangómez. We don't need like front office politics like the Lakers, Jerry Buss and Jeannie Buss figuring out who's leading the team.
We didn't even see him walk. We didn't see how she even took over control of the team.
So you want a voting scene? Like them sitting around a boardroom,
like
talking about who the dad left the team to. I think that would be super boring. That's a business movie.
Yeah, but that to me is like you've got the brother who's in control and he's a super tense character, and then all of a sudden he just loses power and we don't even see how that happened and why.
Well, I mean, Sandler, when he said when Bo gets the invite to the combine, Sugarman's saying, your owner didn't want this guy. Remember that? He went on TV and said, we don't want him. We didn't want him to come here. So, I mean, he's got a bad rep there. Just to me, this is not a movie about like front office intrigue and politics.
I just think for him to get back to his assistant coach without even seeing how that even unfolded for because we knew he would the son wouldn't have brought him back in, the sister did, but the son just vanished. And I was like, okay, I guess he's not in control anymore.
Yeah, Ben Foster there playing the son. My wife kept saying, that's Justin Timberlake with a bald cap, right?
He was in Justin Timberlake's movie, Alpha Dog. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so JD, you were about to say you've got a theory about the sister taking over?
There's no theory. I just think that they probably shot a scene, some sort of confrontation, and then it just ended up on the floor. It's a 2-hour movie as it is. I mean, I see your point, Lee, but at the same time, it's just he admitted that he fucked up drafting the German guy at the very beginning of the movie, and Sandler didn't want him to do that. And then he was basically desperate to get a new piece in there. And then the embarrassment of trying to throw Bo Cruz under the bus on TV, and and then he's suddenly trending with the Boa Challenge. I mean, it's pretty much implied that this guy is he's messed everything up and he's in disgrace, and the sister is taking over. I get your point, but I personally am fine with it.
I like that they did do a couple of the cutting room floor things. I think when Adam Sandler gets the call from Kenny Smith after he says goodbye to Bo at the airport, it looks like Bo is gone, and Kenny Smith says, I got a game for you. And Adam Sandler says, well, Bo's gone. He's long gone. Well, is he in the air? What are you on the phone with me for? And then it's cut to them right in the car, as opposed to him, running in the airport and having another conversation.
You do see Sandler running down like a gangway or something. Like, excuse me, sorry, excuse me. But you never see him go, hey man, there's a game, come with me. Yeah. Probably because that was during the season and Juancho was playing, maybe.
I'm glad they didn't do it just because it would have been so repetitive.
Yeah, sure. They didn't need it.
Yeah, they didn't need it. Exactly, Skeets. You're exactly right.
Yeah, I actually think one of my favorite thing about the movie is like, it's not heavy-handed, and what I mean by that is, like, you could have easily. I thought they were going to. So maybe this is me like projecting onto it. I thought Sandler's character was going to be an alcoholic,
right?
Or like a bit more of an asshole because of issues that he was like caught up in. But he wasn't. I mean, he was just like this guy that really obviously had a goal and been putting in the work and been overlooked, and just, I was amazed that they didn't make him, he's drinking Burger King Cokes all the time and, having crappy fast food out on the road, but he wasn't, from what I can remember, like an alcoholic, so that was good. I thought they were going to do something when the daughter, there's talk about like, are you going to go to school? Or are you going to not? I thought like, her doing all the viral video stuff was like going to get her into school. And I'm like, I was going to be rolling my eyes at that. Like, oh, she created a viral video thing. And it's like, now she's in, they didn't do that. I mean, you can jump to that conclusion, I guess, but that's not hit over the head in this movie. So things like that, even like Bo Cruz's whole, like his backstory about why he didn't sort of become a professional player because of his daughter and you know, getting pregnant, a girl pregnant really young. Like, even that, I thought, like, they didn't like go really overboard with, in a good way. I thought they, like, so many times in this movie, in the wrong hands, the director or the people making it would have done that. And I was like applauding them for not in a lot of instances. And those are just a couple that like come to mind. I think there are other ones too.
Yeah, that's a good point. And doing some research around this film, Adam Sandler was apparently Juancho Hernangómez's acting coach as well. He was sort of his, you know, his agent buddy, trying to help him out emotionally, trying to help him out on the basketball floor, and then he tried to help him out acting wise. And as you said, Skeets, they didn't really go overboard with his backstory. There wasn't a lot of Juancho acting, let's be honest.
No.
I mean, he was in a lot of scenes, but the most he really had to emote was in the car there where he told him about the assault charge, about what happened.
Or getting angry at Kermit. Angry at Kermit at the combine, I suppose, which I think probably a smart move. Like, it's easy for an NBA player to play a cool guy, just being cool out there. Easy to be an upset guy. Everybody has a temper at some point. The hardest emotion, for sure, for a new actor is, like, regret and remorse and sadness, because, you know, it kind of looks like you're just smelling a fart when you're out there. But they kept it focused on the journey of Adam Sandler's character, Sugarman. They kept it focused on the journey of Bo Cruz. And like you're saying, we got enough backstory sprinkled in. It's very much a show don't tell, because they do mention, like, the daughter does go to film school eventually, but all they say is, like, he's calling to check in on how homework went, and she's now doing homework. We don't have to, like, see her editing a video or anything like that. I thought they did a great job of circling and weaving in things that they've kind of mentioned throughout the movie without making it about that stuff, keeping the focus on what the focus should be on.
Yeah, and not only could they have gone deeper into how she got into school, as you said there, Skeets, but they could have gone deeper into just more viral promotion for Bo Cruz as well. There was the hashtag Bo Challenge that got him sort of on the scene, but they could have gone way overboard and come back to, oh, this guy's big on the internet, that type of thing. But they only did it that once, and it, you know, pointed to reality and how things.
Peter
are promoted.
Vesey made a cameo in that.
He was.
So I wonder if there is a relation there to someone, because it was Luca,
the producer,
Peter Vesey, and
somebody else was reacting to those highlights. Allen Iverson.
Oh, that's
Allen
right.
Iverson's
One of the producer credits is Joseph Vesey. Not certain on the relation to Peter and how that.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah. As you said there, one of the many NBA cameos, so many, but just lightly sprinkled in without a lot of acting. I'm looking at the list here. There's probably about 30, 35. Dirk was another one on the phone.
He was awesome, Dirk, because you wonder if he was even acting in that moment, or if that was just improv, you know, because it was classic Dirk. Like, who is this? How'd you get my phone number? And Adam Sandler's kind of panicking a little bit because he wanted Juancho to know, hey, this is legit. I know this guy. And then Dirk eventually, gives in and says he knows him. But I thought that was a great cameo. Him and Boban were probably the favorite for me.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like seeing, like, the most random of dudes. Like, I got really excited when Alex Abrinas showed up. I was like, he left the NBA under kind of, like, odd circumstances to go back to Spain. So to see him show up, I was like, Abrinas! Looks like he's doing all right. I like seeing Jimmy Goldstein there on the sidelines of, the big exhibition game they had at the end. Obviously, it's funny seeing Jose Calderon. I love that they had Brad Stevens in this movie and gave him the absolute dorkiest line to say in the entire movie. Oh, you can tell he will impact winning at our level. I was like, that's the perfect guy to give that line to. So I thought they nailed it. You say they're sprinkled in, they're like dumped in. There's an NBA cameo every 30 seconds, it feels like, which, you know, if you're a sicko, is perfect.
Right. And Brad Stevens, for the sickos, ends up being the general manager of the team that Juancho Hernangómez goes to. So he says, yes, he will impact winning, and then he ends up on his team for the sickos. Has Brad Stevens ever come up at your dinner table?
Not the Brad Stevens, but probably a Brad Stevens. It's a pretty, pretty dull name. So yeah,
a Brad Stevens. So yeah, they were dumped. There was a lot of them. I guess I use the word sprinkle because they didn't hit you over the head.
True.
Like, if you didn't know Alex Abrinas or Jose Calderon, those are just extras in the background warming up while Juancho Hernangómez is hanging out, and his brother Willie also sneaking in there. It was, an NBA fan's wet dream for sure. As you said, Skeets, we could have made this movie. Did those moments, did all the players and all the sort of the NBA branding, was it done well for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I'm trying to like wrap my head around this movie without all of that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's as entertaining or as great as it sounds like a lot of us think it is. So I think they knocked that out of the park, and like kudos, I guess, to the NBA and obviously the 76ers and all that for making it all happen. And all the agents are getting these guys in it. They even went a level like deeper, I guess is the best way to put it. It wasn't just like NBA players and then NBA front office guys and then NBA broadcasters, NBA legends. Then we went down to like and one guys, like the professor and the bone collector, and like it's like, wow, we are really tapping into basketball fandom. So I mean, I'm just upset like we didn't get a small like Trey shutting down Lee in the BOA challenge or something like that. Like we could have had a quick no dunks clip or something like that in that little montage there when it's going viral. But I think overall I was loving all the cameos. I will say though, Trey brought up Jimmy Goldstein at this like secret game. I rolled my eyes big time at that one. I was like, okay, no, this is where Jimmy Goldstein, he's not going to this game in where were they telling us? Maybe it was in the Bronx, I guess, or something like that. I was like,
New York. It was New York because he was in Philadelphia and he had to go over to New York.
I think it was in the Bronx. That was the one where I laughed at. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I know we just got to get Jimmy in the movie. That's fine. Fun cameo, but like he's at this secret game. That felt like a stretch.
Last week, Jimmy Goldstein ordered me off the Boston Celtics logo so he could take a picture at Media Day. So it seemed very real to me.
I mean, look, the NBA games, he's going to these games, draft combine type games.
Yeah, put him at the combine. He wasn't at the combine. Right?
That's a good call.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Or the game at the end. I guess. Yeah. Could have got a shot of him at the game.
For sure. But that doesn't put him on the inside. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think Jimmy would want to be on the inside. If you're going to put me in this movie, I want to be like the cream of the crop VIP secret game. That's where you're going to put me.
Yeah, maybe he goes to these secret games.
Maybe
he does.
I wouldn't be surprised. I agree with you guys. I think they did an awesome job having one foot in reality and one foot in fantasy or fiction. You know, even the fact where Willie is there at this gym, his own brother is there, and it's like, oh, these guys are going to let you play, and apparently Willie, I think, auditioned for the part as well, but that's an aside. But the only one that I did not love, and this is no shade to Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith, he did a great job. Actually, I was very surprised at how good he is in this movie.
Yeah.
But he should not be in this movie because he's too big. It's a distraction, especially when we cut to the TNT desk and he's not there.
Yeah.
It's like, so hold on. And that's the only time I was like, Well, there was a couple of times, but that was the biggest. It was just like, okay, so I guess Kenny Smith doesn't exist in this universe. Is that what you're telling me? Again, he did a great job, but I think it was a mistake casting him as this agent guy. You could have literally gotten anybody to play him, and you could have had Kenny do something else because obviously the guy can act. And I hate to say that because I love to hate Kenny, but yeah, there you go.
Pretty good.
He was great. He probably had to do, I feel like, the most acting of any of the NBA people who were there. But I'm with you, JD. It was very weird when they showed the inside desk. That was one where I was like, I had to pause it and rewind. I'm like, did they sneak Kenny in there? Yeah. No, it's just Chuck sitting in Kenny's seat, which I don't think probably is something that a lot of people are like, wait, they're sitting in the wrong seats. But if you watch the NBA every night and you watch Inside, you're like, ooh, a 3-man desk. This is very strange.
There's also little things like Embiid is nowhere to be found in a movie about the 76ers. So,
but then he was a trade rumor.
Yeah,
he was a trade. But then he did take the tip ball at the end of the game. But he was when they talked about every single Philadelphia 76er under the sun. You're totally right. He just wasn't there.
Yeah.
I believe the final game is a real game.
Yeah, we got a tweet
JD.
from Aesthetics as Ice. The Celtics-Sixers game at the end was footage from their January 14th matchup.
Yeah.
But Juancho didn't play in that game, so they had to splice him in. And obviously he wasn't number 22 either.
Yeah.
That's retired by the Celtics. He was 41. Which, I mean, I guess they could have worked in a way like honoring Dirk since they had the FaceTime, but, you know, give him 22 just like Stanley. The double twos.
I think, though, just back to Kenny Smith for a sec, when he was offered this role, he grabbed it in 2 seconds because you could tell he loved being the power agent and being the man who could get things done. I mean, maybe they said to him, do you want to just be Kenny on the desk for a cameo, or do you want to be this? And he's like, oh, give me the agent, because he was always looking great, speaking great, had a very, very strong role, and made to look pretty good as well.
Oh,
so,
yeah, for sure.
You know, he loved it.
I laughed at the look at the titties scene.
Yeah,
I can't deny it. I noticed the side boob at the beginning. I was like, ooh, this is a little racy for an NBA-affiliated movie. And then Kenny, what a setup.
He got you.
He got me.
Yeah, I laughed at it too, no doubt. Kenny was a natural in that role. He played it really, really well. Before we move on, any other cameos that you want to discuss? Because Tobias Harris, I think, probably had the second most... I don't know, acting besides Kenny Smith. Didn't talk a lot, but...
well, no. How are we not talking about Anthony Edwards?
Yeah. Well, that's not really a cameo.
Right, I guess not.
Anthony Edwards, that was a natural, obviously.
Oh,
Him trash talking.
He killed it.
Absolutely.
He was so good. He was so good. It's like, I'm also like, it's crazy when you think like, how old is he? 21?
Currently,
like,
probably, yeah. He would have been young when they recorded this.
It's amazing. Not amazing. I mean, it was like he was, of course, built to play this role. I mean, yeah, his name is Kermit in this, and not Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, is that a nod to Kermit Washington, or why do you call him? Because he was an antagonist. Why Kermit?
I
just,
sort of tried
some
to make
lines
the same
like,
connection there, but I mean, I don't know.
Just a funny name.
Yeah,
it sets up the frog line. You're getting a guy named after a frog is getting under your skin. I guess
he gives that to him. I mean, I guess, is it in the same lines as Sugarman? Like, you called the guy Sugarman. I mean, I know they didn't really make any Sugarman references, but just a funny name.
Yeah, kind of just a funny name.
And they played a lot with Bo Cruz as the name, obviously.
Yeah, they were firing the pun gun quite a bit in this game. Definitely. But yeah, Anthony Edwards was awesome. Anytime, like the thumbnail for this podcast is Edwards just leaning down right next, talking to Juancho. Those were like the best 5 minutes of the movie. Just when Anthony Edwards is talking shit to Juancho. It's like, yeah, this is the role he was born to play, because it feels like that's probably what Anthony Edwards is doing regardless.
Normally,
he's like got the awesome drawl. He's got hilarious lines in press conferences. Why wouldn't he be the same like that out on the court? I do think it's very funny that he is only going number 2. They will never mention who could possibly be going number 1 in this movie, but he is locked into number 2, and he's showing up the combine to ball. But yeah, the Edwards scenes I thought were so good. I loved what they would use, like the steady cam for when they were going one-on-one with each other. I love that they would give us a little bit of Bo having some success, but then we see Kermit getting into his head and actually coming out on top. Like, he stole the show, no doubt about it. Anthony Edwards, he was awesome.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah, great villain, super sinister, and the trash talking was very well. I don't know if it was improv or obviously some of it was written, but just so villainous the way he comes in. Hey man, what's your name? Blah blah blah, and then he pumps him for information, and then he uses that information against him, which comes to a huge climax when the daughter shows up and okay, he's been poking and prodding, and then he finds the weakness with the mother and the daughter, and that whole thing obviously escalates, and there's a lot of tension there. But yeah, he's great. He's great. We're gonna see Edwards in things to come, I would think.
Oh, he's so charismatic.
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, he's the villain, but he's also like Creed, like Apollo Creed. He's cool as shit.
Yeah.
You're like, this guy's cool, even if he's like sort of the bad guy in this against the protagonist in Juancho. Yeah, and a natural. And I honestly feel like maybe like yeah, I think you're going to see him if he wants to. He appears that he could do this, and maybe like do a little bit more of a role, because he's just playing himself, really, just with a different name. But yeah, he's damn good on camera. He's so, I mean, it makes sense too when you see him in press conferences and stuff like that. He's so confident in who he is as a person, and I think that's probably a great trait to have when you're trying to act, I assume.
Okay, well, we've told you everything we've loved about this movie. It's been a lot. Let's take a break. We'll tell you about the things we didn't like after the break and give our ratings, of course, so stick around.
Yeah, guys, I got a existential question for you.
Ooh.
Has your butt been having fun lately?
Oh, I'd like to keep that private, Jen. It's been having a great old time, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that mine hasn't, because I had a colonoscopy on Friday, and Thursday was pretty rough. So, yeah, my butt could use with some fun. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to hop right on to SeatGeek here.
Hello.
And, you know, find something to do. Ooh, look at this. Motley Crue
and Def Leppard.
Oh, my God.
Okay. What do we got
Joan
here?
Jett and Poison. Come on.
Oh,
Okay.
my God.
All right.
Where am I sitting here? That's the question.
You're sitting? No. Get standing room only, JD, please.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I like how it still has the baseball field alignment.
Yeah.
Dugout, infield, $294.
It's great. Yeah. What else? We got Braves tickets. We got the Atlanta United FC. I'd go see that.
Machine Gun Kelly with Avril Lavigne.
Ooh.
Nice.
Who else? And Ian Dior. I don't know who that is. Look at all these green. The green dots mean good.
A lot of greens.
That's a good deal. SeatGeek is so beloved by butts everywhere, they've made it the highest rated ticketing app, whether it's concerts, baseball, basketball, football, festivals, or anything else. SeatGeek puts tickets from all over the web in one place to make buying simple. SeatGeek rates every ticket from 0 to 10 to make sure you're getting a good deal. Green means good, red means bad. Bad deal. Don't buy it. If you can get $20 off your first purchase with promo code NODUNKS at SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. That's promo code NODUNKS for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat. Download the app today.
Life can be overwhelming, and many people are burned out without even knowing it. Symptoms can include lack of motivation, irritability, fatigue. Ever heard of them? I have. I have had lack of motivation, irritability, and fatigue. We associate burnout with work, but that's not the only cause. Any of our roles in life can lead to us feeling burned out. BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Talking with someone can help you figure out what's causing stress in your life. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much, much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Right now, our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/nodunks. That's betterhelp.com/nodunks.
Pretty excited, as always, for the Helix ad read, even more so than normal today, because I'm also going way off the script here, JD. I hope this is okay, because I want to talk about my own personal recent experience with Helix, because I was one of the lucky ones a year or so ago when they sent out a mattress to a couple of us here, and I got one, and it was so good. And then recently, my wife and I decided, we've sort of moved some things around the house. We've got some people coming over to stay again, it's been so long. So we decided, let's put the good mattress down there for the guests and let's get ourselves another brand new Helix mattress. Went online and I ordered the king size, and I got matched with the Helix Dusk King. Medium firmness, good for stomach sleepers, which I am. You know what though? After a couple of weeks sleeping on it, I was like, it's actually a little soft for me. My wife is fine. She's like, she doesn't really care. She's like, it's fine. But I said, look, Helix has an awesome policy. You get 100 nights free to try this mattress out, right? Risk-free. And if you don't like it, you just can basically replace it. So I went online, and I decided I want a different mattress. I went one a little bit firmer, got matched, went on the quiz again, got matched with the Dusk Helix Twilight. A little bit firmer for me. Again, my wife's kind of like, she sleeps like a grizzly bear, so she's like, I don't really care. And I just want to say, this Helix return exchange program works as advertised. The best thing as well, right, sometimes with these return policies, 100 days, you think they're going to be like, oh, what's wrong with it, you're just being picky. Sure. No, not at all. It's like, all you got to do is just go and buy the other one, we'll replace it, and we'll refund you the cost of the first one, which is just perfect, and it works like that. So do yourself a favour. If you want a good night's sleep on a good mattress, go to helix.com/nodunks and you'll get up to $200 off your order and 2 free pillows, which, by the way, these pillows aren't just throw-ins. These are fantastic pillows. In fact, I could have used one, and I think Trey could have done it in Boston last week. I mean, no one's going to, I don't want anyone to try to feel sorry for us here, but the hotel pillows... There was 4 to choose from. I went none for 4 on those pillows. I was twisting them and turning them and trying to stack them on top of each other. One way too soft, one way too thick. The Helix pillows, perfect. So next trip, I'm stuffing a king-size pillow into my bag. I don't care. I'm doing that. Anyway, as I say, Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/nodunks. Go for it.
You are back with No Dunks, discussing Hustle, the movie that we loved. I know we said we'd get to the things that we didn't like, but first let's still enjoy it a little bit more, because I think it's like 90% like, 10% unlike. Trey, what was your favorite scene in this movie?
I don't know if I can go with a favorite scene necessarily, but I will say I love that this is a multiple montage movie. We get a montage for the Sugar Man himself early on, kind of being a scout is miserable montage, like he's laying in all these nice hotels and just eating garbage food, traveling all around the world. That's at the beginning. That's at the beginning of the movie. We get another montage of Sandler insulting Juancho while he's shooting around. I thought that was kind of the funniest part of the movie to me. I loved the insult training scene, for lack of a better words. And then we get a full-on Juancho training montage, which is pretty lengthy. It's almost like 3 montages in one, if you think about it, because, he starts off working hard, then he gets tired, loses belief, and then he comes back and he finally conquers that big hill. A nice little touch with Juancho doing the Rocky stuff at the top once he finally, he goes up the top of the hill and he can't stop, so he goes up the stairway as well. I got legitimate chills on my legs when that happened. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. So all of the montages, I would say, I thought they were pretty solid.
Yeah, the training one was great. I don't think we needed to see him come back and keep moving that hand-eye coordination, moving those plungers. Yeah, but whatever. Yeah, it was really fun. Juancho hiding behind the pole up on the hill. That was cute. That was very funny. It was enjoyable, all of it. And yeah, it had to be long because it did depict the difficulty, how hard it is to become an NBA player. So I think it depicted that pretty well. It kept coming back to that. So it was, and they made it fun. It was interjected. It wasn't just, I didn't even know what to call it in terms of movie terms, because it was a montage with music, yes, but they helped speed it up because there was some dialogue, as you said, like Sandler, splicing in the jokes and stuff. Is it still a montage, JD, even if there's dialogue?
Yes, I believe so. Okay, I think in Rocky, Apollo Creed yelling at him saying, you're going to use muscles you never used before. Get in the pool. And then he's doing the breaststroke and stuff. That's all part of the montage. So, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I agree that the montage, that particular one, was long, but you never see that in a montage where the guy runs out of gas and there's a needle drop. I can't remember what song it is, but it's like, okay, this is the montage. We're running up the hill and we're working hard, and then that part of the montage sort of, it just literally grinds to a halt and he hits a wall basically. So he's carrying himself up the stairs, and then we cut to the gym. And we're looking through Alex's, the daughter's, camera, and he sits down, flops down, out of frame. It's almost like a behind-the-scenes type of thing, And then off-screen, from behind the camera, we hear, I can't remember exactly, but it was like, "Hey, Dad, what are you going to tell him? Like, now's the time to say something, basically." And then Sandler's like, "I can't tell him anything. He has to tell it himself." Is basically what he says, which could have been super corny, and it's corny. It sounds corny coming out of my mouth right now, but I thought it was extremely well done. And then he basically just picks himself up and gets back to it. And then we had the needle drop first, the first part of that. Then we're in the score, and it's way more cinematic. And I love the score in this movie. I think is great. The needle drops are awesome, and then they seamlessly go to this cinematic, really inspirational type of music, and it was awesome. So going back and watching that montage again, I was like, oh, there's a lot of notes here. There's a lot going on here. So I'm going to defend it. Yes, it's long, but I got chills too. Like,
you know, when story. Yeah.
You know, and then they do that awesome little tribute to Rocky. We're in Philadelphia. This is right out of Rocky, where he's running upstairs and doing the thing. It's like, yeah, we know the movie we're making. Come at us.
We're in Philadelphia.
We're doing it.
To not do a Rocky.
Exactly. We love it, and he even screams, "Hey, Rocky!" out the window. It's great. It's great. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, the director Jeremiah Zager from Philly as well, so that was obviously a purposeful selection there. And you mentioned the production of the video within the montage from his daughter. That was pretty cool. The integration of that was pretty neat. Skeets, is there a scene that you're going to walk away from this movie? Like, is there a scene that you'll remember from this movie?
That's actually a really tough question.
It is,
because I think Trey was saying, I don't really like gravitate towards one scene where I'm like, yes, that's the one. Like, I really enjoyed, of course, you know, the Anthony Edwards Kermit versus Juancho or Bo there. I loved the trash talking going back and forth and him trying to like break him and get him into his head and stuff like that. And I think we maybe will do a deeper dive on the actual basketball footage in a second. But I really loved the start of this movie, I guess maybe as a weird answer to this. I loved the idea that it took like whatever that little montage was to start with Sandler traveling the globe, putting in all the work, just late nights in all these hotels, eating crap food. It just like, however long that was, be it a minute, it was like, oh yeah, this guy's been grinding for 25, 30 years in the NBA. And maybe it's weird because we also know people like this to some extent. And, you know, you think of the NBA as this really glamorous thing, and it is, but there are so many people that you don't know the names of, you don't even know the faces of, that put all this work into it. And maybe they obviously have aspirations to like move up the bench or move the row up and stuff like that, but you never see or hear of them. But they're working their asses off. There are people doing this for a living. So I loved the start of this movie, I guess. I was in right away. I was like, oh yeah, I'm instantly rooting for this guy who seems likable. I think Sandler adds to that too. I think throughout his career as an actor, he's very, very likable. He's sort of that everyday man. So yeah, I guess I'll go to the start of the movie for me.
Yeah, I do. I like the junk food as well. It sets up all the fat jokes in the movie,
Good point.
which I thought were great. And we mentioned the trash talk. There's trash talk within the family, within the loved ones, and the vibe of it is completely different. Like, they do such a good job of like, you know, roasting somebody because of their weight or the daughter because she's not athletic, but it all comes from a place of love. And then you get on the floor and then you got Kermit coming at you and it's a completely different vibe. I mean, I thought they just did a great job with that. And yeah, I agree, Skeets. The beginning of the movie is great. And, you know, he says it, you know, when they force him back onto the road. He's like, 50-year-old guys don't have dreams. They have eczema and whatever. Like, they're just trying to grind it out. And, you know, it's like he's one of those guys that's so good at his job that's what actually traps him in that job. You know, you work so hard to get into the NBA and you do all the studying, you do all the legwork, and then you find that you're your own worst enemy. You're a victim of your own success, sort of thing, and that is an extremely frustrating position to be in. And Sandler just killed it. You know, the whole movie basically just did a great job of portraying that, I guess.
And I think as well, when he talks about his own dreams, trying to make it into the NBA, but he has the issue with his hand. That's still he's carrying the cast around now. So he dreamed of being in the NBA.
Yeah, true.
But he couldn't make it, and so this is the closest he could get. Is like, now I'm just trying to help other people do it, and that was I think a scene as well where Juancho sort of realized as well that Adam Sandler was once Juancho trying to make it, and he couldn't, and he was really, really disappointed. So he's trying his best to make sure someone else doesn't have the same sort of fall that Adam Sandler had, the character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that scene was definitely extremely important, where he was saying, yeah, I could have made it, but he was also saying I was being selfless and trying to protect my teammate Kenny Smith by holding him back. And there's the likeness there of Bo and Adam's story, and it's not, they don't hit you over the head in another sequence in this. So that was cool. So and then the connection even grows. And I know we've sort of mentioned that this is a typical story of a guy trying to make it, but at the same time, we're following an NBA scout here. Yes, this is a movie about an NBA scout.
That's right. Yeah. And the climax of the movie is at the combine. Who watches the combine? It's not the NFL combine. It's like, which is, you don't see every day.
No. And that, I'm an NBA diehard sitting here, and I've never watched as much combine footage as I did watching this movie, no doubt. Really? And think about just the NBA likenesses, the rights, and all that were used in this. I assume LeBron and Maverick Carter and their production house had something to do with it. I'm guessing that they had some sort of in and connection. I wonder if all that gets approved without them being a part of it and being connected with Sandler's production house, which is called
Happy Madison.
Happy Madison, right? Yeah, love it. So,
JD? What did you think of? Just to circle back to it a little bit, because you addressed it briefly there. Queen Latifah and Adam Sandler's chemistry and as a married couple. Sounds like you were in on it.
I bought it. I did. I think she's great. I liked their little backstory. I liked the way they were with their daughter. And I liked how restrained she was and concerned about this cockamamie plan that Stanley came up with. And but she supports him, but also like, I don't know about this, but okay. And I thought she was great. And I love the fat jokes. It's like when he comes in and she's made this cake and he's like, oh, that cake looks good. And she says, it looks like you already ate it or something like that. It's great. I love that. It reminded me of me and my wife.
Yeah, total. I think the family dynamic is like pretty authentic. I love the scene when Sandler and Queen Latifah are sitting on the couch and he's like rubbing her feet and he just says to her, how can such a beautiful woman have such horrendous feelings? Because, you do rip on your significant other in a loving way. I love how, they're talking about they met and he said to her, we're going to have super athletic children someday. Yeah. And then their daughter obviously doesn't care at all. She wants to be making content, which, shout out to making content. See on the internet in a few years. Ball is life, no doubt about it. But all of that seemed very realistic to me, the way they were interacting with each other, given what we hear, just a tiny little bit of their backstory.
Let's get to the basketball playing in this movie, Lee. Did you feel it was real?
Well, yeah, Anthony Edwards throwing down windmills, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what he does in the NBA. So that I do think that he probably said, Adam Sandler, just go out there and do some run. No, don't go too hard on the defense, but go out there and just make some plays, and maybe we can just use that footage for the movie because that looked legit there to him. And the shot blocking stuff, I mean, that was definitely a zig or a zag where other movies have zigged, I guess, where you don't see the highlight reel collaboration of that, where it's like, all right, this guy's just going to go out there blocking shots. So that was good. Other than that, I mean, who did we see? Jordan Clarkson, he's going to shoot. He got a shot up there.
Yeah. Trae Young had a deep one.
That's right.
In the exhibition game.
Yeah. I don't remember. I know Aaron McKee was in it. I don't remember what his role was or his scene was there.
No idea.
But overall, yeah, I think it is better to have as many basketball players as you can. I just about said it. Aaron Gordon walked in. I thought it was Michael Beasley, and I'm like, Michael Beasley? Wasn't him though. It was Aaron Gordon. So, but yeah, I mean, fine. I'm sure there was no shortage of players who were like, you want to go in the Adam Sandler movie? Like, yeah, I'll do it. What do you have to do? Basically, just probably shoot around, and that's about it. And you'll get a credit and maybe a few bucks for it too.
It was kind of cool. Just little tiny cameos of, as you said, Aaron McKee was in it. Who? I mean, I didn't remember. I say who. I just mean what? Like, where was he?
Why?
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
I mean, they just slipped him in, and that's obviously an NBA fan's wet dream. Just to
see Aaron McKee.
Just to see Aaron McKee. Just to see Dave Yeager walking down the tunnel.
I was excited for Dave Yeager too. I was like, that's a deep pull. Like, I think that was Trae Young's brother was sitting there. His younger brother visited the starter's studio once upon a time. They're like sitting on the bench at the exhibition.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
That was a strange one to see, but shout out to Trae Young, always looking out for the family. But the basketball is pretty solid, except for there's never anybody at the rim challenging shots, unless it's Bo Cruz. Like, Kermit goes around him a lot of times, and anytime Kermit goes around Bo, there ain't nobody waiting at the rim because we want to see an Anthony Edwards windmill jam. So I think Anthony Edwards got his fill of windmills for sure.
And they even used his jam on the Raptors Utah Watanabe in the credits.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But there was something weird with the voiceover or the commentary, because it was.
Oh yeah, they changed it.
Yeah.
Actually, we heard. I think the Sixers D Lynam saying, we had a Tobias Harris pull up, and I think D Lynam says Tobias Harris with the throwdown. That wasn't a throwdown. That wasn't a throwdown. So there was a little continuity error. We're talking about the credits here. We're talking
the credits. They're playing with the credits for sure, because there was somebody dunks on the Bulls. I forget who it is that dunks on the Bulls, and you can hear the opposing commentary, and then Stacey King talk. Oh my goodness. But like they're splicing it in from both broadcasts, I did believe. And I also liked another touch basketball playing wise in the credits was that they used Jaleel White's highlights from like Rock and Jock basketball.
Oh, really?
I thought that was hilarious. Like they're like, we got to show him playing from something.
Yeah.
We can't just throw Stefan Urkel out there. But Jaleel hooping on MTV was fun.
Skeets, did you want to talk about the basketball playing in this movie?
Well, yeah, I think the truth is with any basketball movie, to film it and make it look super realistic is really difficult. And even in this movie, when you have NBA players going at it and there's a lot of talent out there, it does always feel like a step slow. Like it's like, because it's calculated and, of course they're acting or being told probably a lot of the times, all right, this is the type of shot you're going to get here. This is the step back, or you're going to drive by him, or you're going to block it. So it's always got like that little weird funkiness to it. And I just don't think there's any way around it. But I listened to an interview with Jeremiah Zagar, the director, and I hadn't noticed it when I was watching it, but after listening to him talk about it, I was like, oh yeah, that was sort of a cool idea. And JD, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. He was like, we basically decided to try and film it like boxing, like any good boxing movie. And because like you're in the ring in a boxing movie, and like you get the perspective of the one boxer looking at the other. And they did a lot of that in this, which sort of makes sense in basketball when it's like one-on-one. And in this storyline, it's like, at least a lot of the times, Juancho versus Anthony Edwards. And I think that worked pretty well. It's obviously not boxing, but there is the vibe of a one-on-one in basketball. And that was, I think, was obviously a calculated decision when they were filming this to like, oh, let's lean into that. Let's get a little raging bull with it. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that, JD.
Yeah, totally. The POV shots of Bo and Kermit looking at each other, awesome stuff. And really, really well acted by the two of them. And it was just a mano-a-mano thing. Here's the other thing. Like the game at the. All of these games are sort of pickup games anyways, right? So it's like making these look super sexy and like quick cuts, and it's kind of not like that in real life. I mean, obviously. So I get the point where I get your point where it's like feels like it's slow, but and they have to amp up the energy, and then the quick cuts to the shooting, and then to the rim, and then back to the guy, and just it goes. It's still going a million miles an hour, but it still feels kind of sluggish in a way, but yeah, I thought that the basketball scene, I don't know, we're used to watching Air Bud, for God's sake, so you know, it was just such a treat to actually felt like I was in the hands of people who actually watch basketball and actually know what they're doing. So yeah, I mean, that shot, the opening shot where Bo Cruz comes into the secret game and we're on a steady cam and they're just warming up, but then you just see Trae Young comes into frame, takes a shot, and then I think we see Aaron Gordon taking a shot, and then we see somebody else dunking it. But it's just like, okay, my nipples are hard. I feel like I'm walking into this secret NBA game. I'm not even an NBA sicko like you guys are. I thought of Lee Ellis when that happened. I was like, Lee probably has a huge boner right now watching this. Because you feel like you're walking on the court with these guys.
My favorite was when there's the crowd of the outdoor gym there, where there's just people like that just turning up and playing, and that's when Tobias was there. I think Tybal was there as well. Mm-hmm. That, to me, is the atmosphere that I would rather be a part of, because that's just like street ball, where it's like, there's no rules as such. It's like, just get out there and play. Rather, like, the indoor gym is beautiful for shooting around and doing the three-point shoot out and having JD trudge the equipment and come on in there. But in terms of the actual atmosphere, I'd much rather the outdoor stuff.
Sure.
I did like watching a lot of the warm-ups, as you mentioned there, JD. I think they did do a good job of not just showing us the big plays and showing us the drama build there, to Juancho walking in and seeing the different side of a pickup game, which was cool. And yeah, there weren't a lot of blocking at the rim, but that's today's game.
Right,
isn't
right.
it? It's realistic.
There's going to be choreographed parts. You can't get away from there being choreographed parts to basketball in a movie, unless you like film 10 games worth and you're like, okay, we'll pick out the 6 greatest clips. But I thought I did a good job of making the choreographed stuff seem pretty natural, at least.
100%. And I'm sure it was easier filming NBA players
doing
their thing.
Oh, go shoot that. Make it.
Yep.
Made it? All right.
Good.
We're good to go.
Okay, let's get it from
Next.
another angle. I'm sure it took about half as long, I imagine, with all those NBA players. All right. JD, let's get to some of the things you didn't like. Is there one thing that stands out that just sticks in your craw about Hustle?
Honestly, again, that's what I meant by it's almost a perfect movie for me, because I really didn't have too many qualms with it. I thought the bus scene was a little cringy, where they get where Sandler is chasing him down, and then he gets on the bus and he speaks into his phone with a translator, and they think it seems like, oh, the bus thinks that this guy is creeping on him, and ha ha ha. But then it redeems itself pretty quickly, because then we're treated to Bo Cruz gets off the bus, and then he chases him, and there's a lot of tension. But we've seen this scene a million times before, but he's chasing him and he's bringing us into his world, kind of thing. And so I was back pretty quickly after the bus scene. And the other thing that I sort of bugged me, and it's not really their fault, but the whole climax of the thing where it's Kermit is in his face, he's talking about his daughter. He's like, oh, maybe I'll get with your mom, blah, blah, blah. He pushes him down, and and then there's this huge, like, slam. It's like, and then we cut to, reaction shots, like, oh my God. It's like, okay, well, like, it's not, what did he hit him with a pipe or something? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just way over the top for that. But, and then it cuts back to him, and it's just like, his hand is right next to his head, and he didn't punch him, and thank goodness. But it was just like it was a bit much, but at the same time I was right on the edge of my seat going, I was totally into it, but things like that. And again, I mentioned Kenny Smith took me out of it. Anything that takes me out of it, I don't like, and I can't believe that it didn't happen more often in this movie, just because there's just so many people, and there's like, Boban's not playing Boban. Juancho's not playing Juancho. It's just they do a very, very good job of walking that line, except with Kenny. So, yeah.
Anything that stands out to you as something that didn't fit, Trey, something you didn't like?
My biggest issue with this movie is that Adam Sandler doesn't play basketball once.
I agree.
That's crazy to me. Adam Sandler loves playing basketball. He's like Lee Ellis. You get him around a basketball, he's dribbling and shooting. And like, I thought there was perfectly like times they could have slipped it in during the basically one-on-one training montages with Bo there. They could have had, Sandler walk through the drill or something like that. I just thought for sure the guy's in a hands-on basketball movie. He's a basketball coach. We're going to see him play a little bit of basketball here, so a little bit of a missed opportunity there. And also, it's weird to me that Juancho's name is Bo Cruz. It's just strange to me. Sounds more like a wrestler than a Spanish basketball player. But it's a cool movie name, I guess.
Yeah, I was totally looking it up. Is Bo short for something? Well, what is going on? It didn't fit as a Spanish basketball player. But also, I learned it's just Juan as well, his actual name, and Juancho is his cute nickname,
Nice.
I guess. So I learned that. But yeah, Bo seems a little bit weird. No Sandler playing basketball. I guess as diehards and if you're on the internet, you see Adam Sandler flicking passes all over the place. So you wanted to see that happen. I understand he was a coach in this, sort of a coach, sort of a...
Well, he was a former player. I mean,
he was a former player, yeah. But I guess it's kind of sticking true to the movie. Like, you don't necessarily see coaches dribbling the ball all that much. I mean, you are in drills and stuff. So I don't know. I guess that was their decision. Like, he doesn't. Everybody wants to see it, but I guess he doesn't need to be doing it.
He was going to play basketball when he discovers Bo Cruz, right? He says, "Is there somewhere where I can hoop?"
Oh, yeah,
and
true.
then he's like looking for a place to play, and that's where he wanders over to the big crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I guess it would have been nice to see him throw some down. I guess.
I mean, we're
Make a
basically
pass.
saying we wish there was a scene where like even Sandler and Juancho like shot around and talked about life,
Yeah.
like shot some
or
hoops.
like Sandler plays really well against Bo and kind of like, oh, you're an actual player. I didn't know that about you. I thought you were just some old short fat guy.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised, We barely even got to see him wearing long socks or long shorts. The guy loves a long basketball short. He is Lee Ellis. There was even, when they were filming the BOA challenge, I felt like he had on your exact same glasses that you were wearing when we shot around in Boston. Blue, like aviators with mirrored blue lenses. This guy is Lee Ellis.
Yeah, I mean, he created the movie as well, so why wouldn't he at least slip a couple of scenes in? But he probably did, and they just didn't make the final cut, I'm sure. I can't imagine he didn't shoot it all.
Anything you didn't like about this movie, Skeets?
I absolutely hated Ben Foster's bald cap. It was so distracting. I'm talking about what's his name, Vincent, I guess, the 76ers owner's son. Vincent. Ben Foster playing him. Why did they do that? Was that not like
that was a bald cap?
I didn't
thought
notice
he was a bald guy.
He's got hair.
If it wasn't, it looked so much like a bald cap to me. I couldn't his head looked gigantic. I was like, there has to be hair under there.
Yeah.
Well, they did give him that weird flat cap at the end too, so maybe you're right. I just thought he was a
they were
bald
like,
guy in
we better
general.
start covering this up.
That's
so
when
that
you
was
knew
a
he
weird
turned
one.
bad officially. They gave him that black flat cap. You're like, can't trust this guy anymore.
Yeah, I mean, just like, you needed somebody to we had to build up Stanley. He got the job from Rex, and then the guy dies hours later. Wow, that's shitty timing. So now Vin's got to be the bad guy. I get that. Hey, back out on the road. You're going to be missing your daughter's birthday for the rest of the time. I get it, but I didn't love his character. It had some major league vibes going on a little bit. But I'm nitpicking at this point because I really did like the movie. So I would say his bald cap, if it was a bald cap, maybe you're right, Trey. I don't know. At least the makeup done on his bald head.
It's a very dry head.
Yeah, and I was a little surprised. I didn't hate this. I'm surprised we didn't get a LeBron James cameo.
Yeah.
How is LeBron not in this movie at all? That part is fascinating to me, that he doesn't have a little scene of some sort, even in the whole Dr. J Boa challenge there. But no, instead it's going to Iverson and Luka's in there and stuff like that. Just more shock than anything.
Yeah, maybe he didn't want to make it about him. I guess he's taking the producer's role now.
That's shocking.
Different part of his life. All right, Lee. Anything that stands out to you didn't like?
Only that in the end, I felt the same as I do after pretty much every basketball movie, where it's works out. And one thing I really liked about, like, Chris Herring's book this year on the Knicks, right? You know what I loved about that? There wasn't a happy ending. It was like this incredible story. You were pulling for the guys, like you're pulling for Juancho in the movie, but the Knicks ended up, and it's like, oh, they didn't get the championship. And I liked that. In this movie, I was expecting something different to happen, and ultimately I didn't feel it happened any differently. So that's why at the end, I was like, oh, he made it. Okay. All right.
So the scene on the escalator where he's leaving and they say goodbye.
Yeah.
He does the shot. He blocks it.
Yeah.
You won't even let me have one.
Yeah.
Credits. Better?
Lee wants
it would have been different at least. And I'm like, okay, it didn't go as I was expecting it to go, you know? And then maybe you just cut back to him and he's like playing basketball with his daughter in Spain or something like that in the end. Like I say, I looked at it and I was expecting and hoping for a different ending. And in the end, it was Michael J. Fox hitting the free throws in Teen Wolf. It was like, oh, okay, it's the same. So, you know, that's how
that was the way back, right?
Oh.
The way back ended with missed free throws and them not winning. So
and we didn't even see the championship game in that, right? Doesn't it sort of
that may
cut
be
away?
true. That may be true.
Yeah.
What happened?
And
did we do that?
And Lee,
See,
to push back on what you were saying, like, at least like we didn't get a shot of him at the draft. And he goes, you know, whatever. Like, where was he drafted? I don't know. We didn't see him actually playing in the NBA, hitting a game-winning shot. Like, he made it, but we don't even know where. Like, was he a first-round pick, second-round pick?
Right.
Like, he's on the team, but he's not starting. It appears he's not jumping it up. So, like, at least they were like, they toned it down. I thought was a good thing. They weren't like, oh, this guy's the best player in the world. He's going above Kermit. There was like, no, he made the league. All right, he still is making probably $1 million. Awesome.
I would have almost liked a draft scene because that was one of the questions for me was, how did he get to the Celtics? Like, how did he actually get to the Celtics? He's a 22-year-old 3-and-D prospect with off-court issues, but they've got him going up against the number 2 draft pick in every single one of these meetings. They're obviously not the same position. Like, you know, Bo Cruz is 6'10", Anthony Edwards is a guard.
Yeah.
How did he get to the Celtics?
Was he a free agent pickup, or
then why did he go to the combine?
Yeah.
Oh, I know the reason for this. Who cares? Honestly,
Exactly.
who
We don't need the front
we don't
office
need
stuff. I was just a little
Yeah.
confused. Like, I don't know. It is strange that it builds to the combine.
Right.
Like, it builds to the combine, a big draft thing, even though we don't know if this guy's even eligible to be drafted. But I guess we just we just need to get him another one-on-one scene with Kermit, I think is kind of the whole point of that, right? Put him in another stressful situation.
Yeah.
Totally. All right.
Let's see that transaction page on Basketball
Yeah.
Reference is what I need here.
RFA, UFA, unguaranteed salary, biannual exception. What do we got here? What are we running here? All right. We're getting into the nitty gritty. But before we get to our ratings, any more nitty gritty? Any random observations anybody wants to throw out there on the table?
Yeah, I've got one. What do you guys think the cruise missile was a good nickname? Was Stanley right?
It's better than Boa, I think. But I think they're both bad.
Yeah, I mean, a missile for basketball doesn't. Yeah, like
There isn't a direct. There's no direct missile.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a line drive shot.
What? He's always on target?
Yeah, that
Long-range
part of
shooter?
it makes sense. His last name is Cruz, I guess.
I think it's fine. It's fine. It's like, you know, he'll be like Luka. He's going to have a million nicknames on Basketball Reference.
That aren't
and
good.
They're mostly plays on his name, and none of them are that great. But because you've got such an easily punned name, people are going to keep coming up with nicknames, even though you don't need them. Bo Cruz is like just a cool name. Luka Doncic, it's a cool name. You don't need a nickname for everybody, but you got to force them in sometimes.
If it had to do with his defense, which seems to be his number one
calling
skill,
card, yeah.
that would have been better, I think. Especially because everybody's all about offense. Nicknames are all about offense. Should have switched it up. I don't have one off the top of my head.
Boa Constrictor, that's what they said. That's
Oh,
what Dr.
he
J
locks
said,
people
right?
down,
He
yeah.
Dr.
sucks the
J's
life
the
out of his
genius.
opponents. But then, you know, Kermit Wiltz put an end to that nickname when he said, "Oh, the Boa? You swallow anything, huh?"
Yeah.
End of ineffective nickname right there. Just like that.
Yeah, he could have come back with including frogs.
Oh, really good.
Yeah, including a squirrel on Tass's neighbor's
Yeah,
doorstep.
that's why I was good with it. Do we have that photo of a snake squeezing the life out of a squirrel recently that I saw in person. I was okay with the boa constrictor because that's what they do. I got a couple notes here. When he's at the combine the day before the game at the combine, Sandler says, "You need to relax." They turn a corner and boom, his wife and kid are there. I thought to set that up, to set the feeling up of Juancho turning the corner and getting excited, I wanted a couple more beats. That's a tiny note, but I wanted a little bit more of a tiny build-up, not a lot, but it was just like, boom, they're there. You know, I think it could have been a little bit more of an emotional scene there.
Really? I was totally fine with that scene. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Okay. We're in the editing room. I mean, not a lot, just a beat. I just wanted to feel what Juancho was feeling. And then to be a little bit more excited. Anyways, it's a tiny note. But at dinner with Sugarman's family, Juancho tells him, "I looked you up." Right? He's like, "Oh, you came to Spain? Of course I looked you up, you dummy." And then when Sandler tells Juancho his story in the car, Juancho didn't know the story. So I guess he didn't get that far down the Wikipedia page or what? Because that's like the second paragraph.
The 6 months in jail would be on that wiki page.
Personal life.
And that story as well is very vague and purposefully so. I mean, I reached my hand out to protect my play. Like, you're not protecting anybody if you're running into a telephone pole. Like, you know what I mean? That's not happening. But fine, whatever. Like, it's the sentiment there, but still, I mean.
Yeah, what's the physics with
the
his hand going through his? The windshield doesn't really make all that much sense.
His left hand as well, like he's going to reach cross body.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, it was his left hand. You're right.
Yeah, and why did he have to keep the thing on it all the time?
It's a bad accident, I guess.
Yeah, bad accident.
Queen Latifah's always massaging it.
It's true.
Yeah.
A lot of massaging in this movie.
There is a lot of us.
I do think one thing that was dumb that stuck out to me was right before the scene with Lucia coming back. You know, it's Stanley and his wife are laying there talking about how he seems to be a little bit out of it. And she mentions, like, he probably misses his daughter. But the thing I couldn't stop looking at was Adam Sandler laying on their bed with his shoes on.
He was.
Yeah. I was like, oh, JD is going to hate this. Seeing him just relaxing with his filthy shoes on the bed.
Yeah. He's used to the hotel life.
Yeah, I guess that's right. They always have that little thing at the end there to protect the bedspread.
I can't believe I didn't notice that.
Yeah, getting back to the hotel stuff. You guys are okay with the fat jokes? I just didn't feel like Adam Sandler's that fat.
Probably just
he's unhealthy though.
Yeah.
That was like Michael Jordan calling Jerry Krause crumbs all the time. That's what the reference was to me for that one. I feel like they did a pretty good job of sliding that kind of stuff in. There's there's the big fight between Vin and Stanley early on when they're talking about drafting Mo Wagner. Haas. Haas. Yeah, Haas. He's a softie. He's just a diva out there. But there's a great line where, like, have you seen the tape? And Vin hits him back with, oh, like the Bargnani tape you tried to trade up with? A deep Bargnani burn 10 years later. Like, oh, that's a tough one right there.
Yeah.
And did he whiff on his name? It felt like he sort of stumbled over Bargnani. You know what I mean?
So.
Like,
I think that was a backhanded slap to the Brian Colangelo era of the Philadelphia 76ers.
That's a good call.
That was nice. Yeah, I like Sandler's reaction there. Damn, you got me, man. And I didn't realize, doing this morning made me realize that Hernangómez and Anthony Edwards were teammates last year.
Yep.
So I guess they had that relationship going back last
Tess,
year.
I heard that Juancho is the reason Anthony Edwards is in the movie. That they did not have that player cast, like the protagonist, for Kermit. And then Juancho came in and told them, like, you know, I'm teammates with Anthony Edwards. We go at it all the time. We're always talking trash. You know, he could be perfect for this role. And then he came in and read and is like a natural. That's what I just heard Sandler tell on another podcast. Juancho is the one that
Edwards,
pulled him in.
the bad guy role. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What a teammate.
Edwards just said, I'm good at everything.
Yeah.
Clearly he is. I hope that they somehow end up, like, we have to have one possession in the 22-23 season when Juancho is guarding Anthony Edwards. Literally the entire internet will be the Leo meme if they guard each other somehow, like one-on-one on the perimeter. It's got to happen. So where is Juancho right now? Is he a San Antonio
Utah.
Spur?
Utah.
Oh,
Yeah, Jazz.
He's
He
Utah
actually
Jazz at
played
this
in
point.
the playoffs.
That's a good call.
Surprising.
So hopefully we'll see some minutes of them together next season.
All right, let's get to our ratings. But first, one more quick break. We'll be right back. We've got a Giannis Antetokounmpo video coming out soon. It's a short vid where I patronize the audience about the spelling of his name and the Greek alphabet. I sound a lot like the dad in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Miller come from the Greek word milo, which is mean apple. So, there you go. When JD wins an award for the editing on it, I'm getting my suit for that award ceremony from Indochino. Because let's face it, it's not going to be an Oscar. Sorry, JD. But it'll be a smaller award show that'll give us like 2 weeks notice, and I'll have to order it that second. And Indochino will make me look good. And I got my stats all up on Indochino's website. It's great because you can take your own measurements at home, enter your info, and they're on the site forever. Mine have been there for years. And then you can add customizations, which are all included in the very reasonable price. And when we win that award, I can add something special to the customizations for that event. Maybe get Greek freak embroidered on the cuff, or the old spelling of his last name on one and the new spelling on the other. Luckily, Indochino doesn't charge by the letter. Ha 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 ha. There I am being the Greek dad again. Now, you can customize every detail on suits starting from just $4.29 and shirts from just $79. Options for fabrics, lapel shape, button type, statement linings, and more. They've got some nice, relaxed spring pastels, too. If you've got a big day coming up, getting the perfect look is no big deal with Indochino. Get $50 off any purchase of $3.99 or more by using promo code NODUNKS at Indochino.com. That's $50 off a purchase of $3.99 or more at INDOCHINO.com. Promo code NODUNKS.
Baya style. Let me tell you all about the new Starbucks Baya energy drink with caffeine naturally found in coffee fruit. It's energy that's good. Starbucks Baya is a bevy that's crafted from caffeine naturally found in coffee fruit as well as antioxidant vitamin C, and I actually know what coffee fruit is now, so it makes sense to me how they're getting the caffeine from it.
Inform us.
Well, the coffee fruit is the fruit of a coffee tree. Usually you just want the beans or the seeds on the inside of it, but clearly there's a fruit. Usually we're just waiting to ferment that fruit away. You tumble it, it all tumbles away and you're left with the seed on the inside. Okay. But if you don't want to ferment it, you could just harvest the fruit and get that delicious caffeine out of it, which is exactly what Starbucks did with their new Baya energy drink. And we gotta love these 3 delicious fruity flavors, mango guava, raspberry lime, and pineapple passion fruit. Each of these beautiful 12-ounce, 90-calorie cans contains 160 milligrams of caffeine from that coffee fruit, giving you refreshing fruit-flavored boost of feel-good energy in a way only Starbucks can deliver. Let me tell you, I could have used a Baya on Saturday. Had a late tip in Boston. We recorded a podcast after the game. By the time we were all packed up and back at the hotel, I wasn't getting to bed until almost 2:15. Woke up the next day to fly home at 4:45. Headed to the airport. When I landed, it was almost straight to the pool. The big guy was struggling. But I'm thinking that the fruity and refreshing flavor of Starbucks Baya would make it the perfect drink for tired parents at the pool. Maybe next time I'll break into the Classic Factory to steal one, or better yet, grab a Baya at any of the numerous grocery stores, convenience stores, and gas stations nationwide that carry it. Because there's no more delicious way to stock up on energy than with the new Starbucks Baya energy drink. Get it anywhere you get cold drinks.
All right, back with No Dunks, a film session about hustle, and it's sort of like when we predict the NBA Finals or any other playoff series. We're here at the point that everybody cares about. This is all they care about. Our rating. JD, get us started. How would you rate Hustle?
I would rate it, I'm going to give it a 9. A solid 9. Wow. I said it was almost perfect. Kenny Smith took me out of it. There, as Lee says, it is a pretty by the numbers sports movie, but it was great. I walked in 10 minutes into the movie, and Jackson, my son, was watching it, and I knew nothing about it other than There was a character called Bo Cruz and a character called Kermit, and it was an Adam Sandler movie. It could have been a goofier version of Semi-Pro for all I know. I didn't watch the trailer. I just went in blind and I was like, holy shit, this is actually very good. And I knew we were going to have to watch it for this, but I wasn't ready to watch. It was just something I was just going to, get to it when I got to it. But I sat there. It was in the middle of the afternoon, and I just watched the movie, and I welled up a couple of times. Like the when you see the oak tree tattooed on the blank arm, that got me right here, man. And then after the movie, Jackson, 2 basketballs at the side of the house, shirt off, training his ass off. He was running up and down our driveway, like, That's what Rocky did to people back in 1976. It was inspiring. It made people pumped up, and it made people go out and do shit because it moves people. And like I said, it's like a familiar blanket. It's a familiar meal. It's like every movie, all these sports movies, they're like a song, right? Like, hey, you're on bass, I'm on guitar. Let's get saxy over here and let's do a song. And sometimes you get what's a crappy song with a sax in it?
Baker Street.
Crappy? Hello?
Well, I mean, the sax part is the best part of it.
Right, okay, exactly. Or you get Careless Whisper, or you get, I don't know, the Tarzan Boy or something. Anyways,
what the hell are you talking about?
I'm saying that it's the same ingredients, it's the same notes, it's the same. It's how you play them, how you arrange it, how you handle each beat in the story. And it's really easy to misstep on movies like this, and they didn't. It's up there with like Creed or any of the other good sports movies where you go, God damn, that was enjoyable, wiping tears away, and you love it. So it's getting a 9 from me.
Have you ever rated anything a 9 out of 10, JD?
I think I gave one of the Fast and Furious movies a 9 out of 10, and it was Hobbs and Shaw. But I'm like Ebert. I rate based on what kind of movie it is. You know what I mean?
It's on a curve.
I'm not comparing it. I'm not comparing this to Schindler's List or something like that. It's apples and oranges. So yeah, this is a 9. I would rewatch this sports movie, and I thought it was great.
I wish I had a sax right now. I would play a beautiful sax right now. Trey, give us a rating, man.
I'm giving this 1 minute and 30 seconds out of 1 minute and 45 seconds running up a hill. I think it breaks down to an 8.5. So I'm right there with JD. This is basically basketball Rocky, chock full of NBA cameos. The last NBA cameo-laden movie we watched, I feel, was Eddie. Like, there were so many NBA players in Eddie. And like JD said, that was a silly movie. Like, that's a pure comedy with Whoopi becoming the coach of the Knicks here. They went a totally different way tonally here. I think it's kind of surprising, actually, that there are not that many jokes in this movie, considering it is an Adam Sandler movie, and it's definitely a little more, a little kinder movie than Uncut Gems is. Yeah. But I think this is an instant classic in the sports movie world, and I think it's going to be a rewatchable one going forward.
All right. 130 out of 145. Mm-hmm. Lee, what's your rating?
I'm giving it 3 out of 4 from the 3-point line, so 75%. Look, it was fine. It was good. It was more enjoyable than other sports movies. Adam Sandler, I think, is incredible. And like I say, I've gone from like not being a big Adam Sandler fan to his last two. Now I'm like, whatever he does next, I'm definitely going to watch that because I think he's better in this role than the sort of goofy, funny guy that he was in his early ones. I just didn't enjoy those ones. When he's a bit more,
you didn't grow up in America.
No, but when he's a bit more like in Uncut Gems, where he was a bit like his life was a bit chaotic and a bit messy. He was always like living for the next bet to survive. In this one, he was a bit the same. He was like he's putting all his chips on Juancho, and eventually paid off for him. It's just, as I've said, I was hoping for some sort of swerve at the end, and I didn't feel that. So that's why I drop it down to 75%, just below 80%, which would have been an A. So it's a B plus.
So you enjoyed it.
I did. I wasn't like, oh my God, like, you know, when you sometimes like, how much longer have I got of this to go? You know, I was watching it. I stopped for lunch, picked it up again in the end. I was like, okay, that's good. That's an airplane type movie for me. If I can just sort of sit through it without picking up my phone and start getting distracted with other things. So it was fine. I mean, for me, rewatching it, like, it would have to be extreme circumstances for me to want to rewatch it again. I wouldn't. I'm just not that interested in watching it again because I'm just like, it was fine. It's good. I like Adam Sandler. I've become a bigger fan of his.
I watched it on Sunday, and it's Wednesday as we record here. And Danielle said to me, "Let's watch it again," because she watched it with me the first time, and she said, "Let's watch it again before you got to do your show." So, we almost did. We were both up for it. That's how good this movie was. We didn't end up doing it.
So what happened then? If you're both up for it, you got the time.
Oh, we got so many other things to do. But yeah, I don't include that just because we didn't. I mean, I'm not just trying to pick up the movie. I would have. When JD said it was 2 hours long, I was shocked. I had to go double check that.
Yeah.
It did not feel like 2 hours.
No. Yeah. No, it flew.
Lee, so Skeets, what was your rating?
Well, it's funny Lee said this. I actually think this is and this is a compliment. It's not a diss. This is the perfect airplane movie. Perfect. If you have a trip coming up, download this, on your little Netflix app there. And the 2 hours, that's nice. You're going to kill a good chunk of your flight, hopefully. I think, as hopefully we've proven here, you're going to be really entertained, especially if you're a basketball fan. So I'm very high on it. I checked too, Tass, the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, 91%. The audience score off of about, 50 verified ratings, 92%. So that's right in line with JD's 9 out of 10. That's exactly where I am. If I go with one of their type of ratings, give me a 92, a 93%. I'm high on this movie. I think it's one of the best basketball movies ever made.
Yeah.
I honestly do. I love Above the Rim. I'm not counting Hoop Dreams. I'm not counting documentaries. There's a whole other genre. But Above the Rim, I love. White Man Can't Jump is there's some hilarious things about it, but it is a great movie. I like Blue Chips. But this is going to be, is Uncut Gems a basketball movie? Some will say yes, some will say no, sure, throw it in there. This is right there. It's that good. I also think it's one of Sandler's best movies he's done, at least from a dramatic role. I'm a huge Punch Drunk Love fan. I liked Uncut Gems, him being a crazy person in that, and you got some vibes of that. Both those characters, I think, in this one as well. So, 93%. I'm very high on this movie. I was skeptical when JD said it was damn near perfect. I was like, oh boy. Yeah, you're setting me up to hate this movie.
He's drunk again.
Yeah, exactly. But it really is, I guess, the equivalent this movie is of Scottie Pippen and a wolf having a baby, which I still am trying to wrap my head around. God, that's an ugly baby, but great on defense.
Hey, I agree with both of you that it's a good airplane movie too, but please wear noise canceling headphones or something, because the sound is great, and the score, I really love the score of this movie, and it really moves the story along. It really helps with the fact, it's 2 hour movie, but it just flies by, and it's a movie with a lot of montages, and the music is great in them. So
tons of Philly artists, obviously, too. Yeah. With Freeway's in it. There's the Roots. I'm sure there's 10 other ones that I didn't write down, but yeah. So great movie. Tass, what do you think?
I'm going to Hundo P. I got to balance. I got to balance out Lee's 75 to bring it up to the critic's score of 90.
There we go.
I'm not a cinephobe, and yes, of course, there were some tiny issues, but yes, you have to grade it as a basketball movie, and this is a movie about the NBA agent life, which is different, and I think that part had a lot of believable ups and downs on its own. Just the Sugarman angle, and then obviously the connection that we always see. What is the emotional connection? Him with Juancho in this movie, as JD said, he welled up a couple times. The oak tree, he is his oak tree, and I think that was believable, that connection. And listen, as an NBA diehard, the integration with the teams and the likenesses and the player cameos, that brings it up a notch.
Oh, yeah.
And it was done well. Didn't hit you over the head. It was enough. And Sandler did a good job of getting all the clearances to make that happen. So that was pretty cool. So I'm buying all of it. And 10 out of 10, Hundo P, whatever you want to call it. I'm good with it.
The perfect movie.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I love it.
It's
Wow.
perfect.
A movie so perfect, I thought about watching it a second time.
Sorry, JD, you've been bumped from the movie poster. Damn near perfect, line through. So perfect, I almost watched it twice. Right at the top. Here's a hot take for you. Is Adam Sandler the best sports movie maker of all time?
Wow.
He's got 2 classic basketball movies. He's got a classic golf movie in Happy Gilmore. The Waterboy is a funny football movie. That's 4 right there on a Mount Rushmore. It's like him and Wesley Snipes, kind of.
Oh, Kevin Costner?
Kevin
How many does he
Costner,
have?
true. Yeah, he's got a couple of baseball movies, a golf movie.
Adam Sandler's anger management's around a baseball theme, isn't it?
Is it?
Is it that
No.
one? He's got like the Yankees in it. He's got like
there might be
Roger
some-
Clemens and Jeter and
Oh.
Torre in
Yeah.
it. Because it's the
Well, and
Yankees
call it
Red
a
Sox
baseball
rivalry with Drew Barrymore or something like that.
That
Are you thinking about Fever Pitch?
Fever Pitch?
Oh, is that Fever
Fever Pitch is Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah,
Wrong Saturday Night Live guy who laughs at his own
Yeah.
jokes.
Who's that one? Who's in that?
Jimmy
Old
Fallon.
guy. Fever Pitch is Fallon and Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. And
Your
anger management
management's
is
old.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack
Nicholson.
Nicholson.
Okay. Getting him confused here.
I enjoyed Anger Management.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're putting it on his Rushmore of sports movies, but it was a good movie. If you remember that one. All right. Any other last words?
Weird to see the coaches in suits.
Yeah, good point.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was a discussion, right? Like, because it was made this movie was made during the pandemic, and the producers are probably like, Suits coming back or no? Like, is this going to stand the test of time? Like, 10 years down the road, is it going to be weird to see them in the polos, or is it weird to see them in the suits? And they went with the suits, obviously. So, yeah.
I mean, you almost have to go with the suits too for Sugarman's character, right? Like the progression,
Yeah,
like
that's a good point.
Just the actual, he's made it to another level. But that's pretty funny that they're out of this. Now they just dress like Stanley Sugarman.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so there were shots of Doc
Influential.
Rivers coming down the tunnel and Dave Yeager, his staff, all in suits. Yes, you mentioned Sugarman there, Skeets. But this was an actual game played in 2020, 2021, last season, right? And that was post suits. Like, they didn't have to wear suits last year.
So that was the thing, because they started shooting, it said on Wikipedia, in 2020.
Yeah.
Right, and that was when the bubble
year.
was when they got rid of the suit. So they must have maybe just shot that.
Yeah.
Well, but hang on, if it was at a real game,
I think, yeah, that's my question. So it was a real game. I guess all the shots of the tight shots of Doc and Dave Yeager, maybe they forced them to wear suit. Maybe they're suit guys though. Every guy.
well, they
that
could have
shot.
just shot that scene, I guess. As
Yeah. But if you get a wide, maybe there's a wide shot of the bench of the real game, and they're not wearing suits.
Interesting.
Maybe there's a continuity error.
Have to go back and dissect it.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? It was a fantastically shot. See, again, we didn't have to see too much of that. That's why I like that last scene. Just Juancho opening up the jacket, showing him 22, just like you, Sugar Man. I was totally cool with that. Sugar Man just rolls off the tongue. I like saying that. All right, we're all done here. Make sure to check the show everywhere we do it. YouTube, wherever you're listening. Like, follow, share. Do what you got to do. We'll be back to talk NBA Finals, Game 6 tomorrow. But first, Clipper Bros, take us out.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Who's got a great quote out there?